Already hard at work putting miles on my new Camaro build. In the last video, we got some suspension modifications done, subframe connectors, and poly suspension bushings, and just gave the car a thorough once-over to get ready to start driving it. Now that the car is driving properly, I'm gonna start moving into the cosmetic side. I've not touched the cosmetics of this car since I bought it. This is exactly how it looked 18 months ago when I bought it. And we're gonna start by blacking out the windows, which tint guy already did the sides, 5%. But you'll notice, back is not done, and neither is the front windshield. And the reason for that is, these older windshields are sealed with butyl. Hopefully you guys can see this, but it's kind of a messy, way of sealing up windshields. It works well, but it's just not like a very clean line. You can see it here underneath the windshield wiper too. And also on your modern windshields, you have this painted area all around the whole border of the windshield that you can kind of run the tint into on front and back. These older windshields don't have that. It's just a straight piece of glass. So long story short, it was gonna be difficult to tint this and have it look good with the butyl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the glass, tint the windows, and then put it back in so you won't see any edges. It'll look really professional, really the right way of doing it. And what you're seeing back here is what we're gonna need to do in order to get the glass out. Obviously the glass needs to come out. We need to pull the window trim out. So I started that on the back here. Got my new window trim removal tool. Basically you just come in back here, squeeze this together, it removes the clips and allows the window trim to pop out. And thus begins the blacking out of all this stuff on this car that's currently chrome. That's the look I'm going for. Nothing wrong with chrome, it's just not really my style, especially for this Pro Touring build. So windshield trim, mirrors, door handles, door locks, windshield wipers, all that stuff is gonna be black. Gonna drop it at the powder coater, which is fine because like I said, the windshield needs to come out anyways. So if we're doing the window trim, we're already halfway there. So yeah, I gotta get to work getting this window trim out, getting the door handles off, anything else that needs to go to the powder coater so we can drop that stuff off, and get the front and rear windshield out so we can get ready for the tint guy. So I got a lot of work to do, no time to waste. Let's get to work on this windshield trim, and all the other stuff that's gotta come on. Well, we got all the trim removed, front and rear, mirrors, door handles, basically complete chrome delete. The door cylinders, I didn't think that this would be able to be easily powder coated, and I found you can buy black door cylinders online with new keys for like 30 bucks, so I got some of those on the way. So we just went out, dropped off all that stuff with the powder coater, gonna do everything in gloss black, and also stopped at Harbor Freight and picked up some tools to get these windshields out, which hopefully goes smooth because the tint guy's coming tomorrow. So we got the windshield removal tool we're gonna use to cut it out, and then a couple of suction cup thingies so that we can hopefully remove the windshield. I've never removed the windshield before or cut out glass, so this could go easy or it could go horribly wrong, but I think I got a general idea of what we're supposed to do. We'll see. Anyways, let's get this glass out. Also, Celtics facing elimination. Go Celtics. All right, well, it's been a couple days, but I'm gonna get back on the Camaro. Was working on the 04 Cobra. If you guys haven't seen that video series, you can check it out here, if you guys that are interested. Otherwise, I struggled with those windshields, probably saw in video. Not that the tool didn't work well, but I learned a couple things about this car. Most important one being that I thought that both of these windows were sealed with butyl because, as I mentioned, you can see, from the inside and outside, you could see this butyl, which is a very soft, pliable rubber. It's the same stuff I use to seal up, custom headlight builds. If you guys watched the Red C6 video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's there. This is all urethane. So both urethane and butyl somehow were used to seal the front window. The rear was just urethane. I struggled, especially with the front and a little bit with the rear. I mean, it's only 60-ish degrees in the garage. I think at one point, I can't remember if I put on video, but I had to break out the heat gun, and that loosened up the urethane a little bit. But overall, the tool worked really well, but you have to put a lot of might, a lot of strength into that tool to get that out. But I did get both windows out. Spent a couple hours cleaning both of them. My tint guy came down, tinted the windshields at 35%. So this is all done. See a nice clean border there, which we may have to cut back even farther to do the primer. We'll know that a little bit more about that once we, dry fit the window. And the rear window's over here on the couch at 5%. Looking good. So both windows are tinted. They've cured for a couple days. They're basically ready to go back in. So now I gotta focus my attention over here. Gotta clean up all this mess and remove all this butyl. Get the urethane cut down to basically right almost flush with the pinch weld all the way around, and get this prepped and ready for the glass to go back in. Same thing on the rear. I'm still waiting on my urethane. It should be here, I think, later today or tomorrow. But like I said, in the meantime, I got plenty of work to do. In addition to prepping for the glass, Like I said, I dropped off those parts at the powder coater, so they're getting powder coated right now. But we also have these pieces right here along the window, and then one right there. And then also this door lock cylinder that I told you, the new one is going to be here shortly as well. So I'm going to take all this stuff out. I think I'm going to scuff it and probably just spray it flat black, because that's the color, obviously, of your seals and stuff. So I just want that to blend in. I don't really want that to be gloss. So hopefully pop all this stuff out, spray it flat black, get all that to blend back in, get this cleaned up, then we can get ready to get the windows back in. So let's get to work. I have gotten a lot done since the last time I checked in with you guys. So to start off, completely blew apart all the remaining chrome trim bits that surrounded the windows. And there was a lot more than you'd think. Basically a strip all along this door, then along the quarter window, then all the way up through here, connector piece there, all the way down through there. Same thing on the other side. Got all that scuffed, cleaned, masked, prepped, painted in gloss black. Dropped one of the connector pieces down there. But yeah, came out awesome. Used a Rust-Oleum flat black, came out really good. Yeah, thin light coats with a final heavier coat, never done me wrong. Finished up yesterday, so this has been curing for a full day, so it should be ready to go back on. This is exactly what I was going for. Here's one of the quarter window pieces, just to give you an example of once the window's back in. Should blend in just like the rubber molding will, because I don't want it to stick out, just didn't want the chrome there. So flat black I think was perfect. So that's done. Also got the window channels front and rear cleaned up, vacuumed, degreased. Any remaining butyl or contaminants or anything like that is all cleaned up. Left a little layer of urethane on the bottom. That's what all the pros say to do, is that urethane is going to bond best to urethane. So left a little layer there, but this is basically ready for the new glass to go in, or I guess it's the same glass. Freshly tinted glass, same thing back here. Cleaned up the 6x9s and the area around that, cleaned up the window channel. This should be all good to go. Here's what we were dealing with. Just a big, nasty, gross pile of butyl and urethane and everything else. Some of the prep stuff I use for painting. Broke both of my plastic razor blades trying to get this process done. But yeah, that's all the stuff we cleaned up. Big, big pile there. Powder coat guy brought my stuff back. Turned it around in like 2 days, so super happy with that. It's all right here. Boom, gloss black. Window trim, door handles, all taken apart. Ready to go back together. Mirrors are taken apart, all gloss black. They got my fingerprints all over them because I've been checking them out, but nice. It's gonna look sweet. So I think before I get the glass ready to go back in, I'm gonna get as much of this window trim back in and back on the car. Just get it kind of out of my way. It's getting kind of cluttery in here. Don't really like that. Also got my goodies from Camaro Central, including our black door lock cylinders, including keys, black wipers, and I also picked up a clip for my dash. Still needs to go back in because I was missing one. So we can install these as well. So I'm gonna get as much of this stuff back on the car as I can, and then we'll focus on dry fitting the windshield and rear window a bunch of times, make sure everything fits right, and then get the urethane on there, get the windows in, window trim, and we'll see how this thing looks. But for now, let's get some stuff back in the car, go from there. Damn. Got everything back together. Got some of our powder coated parts on there. Gloss black powder coated mirrors, door handles, got my lock cylinders in there. Got all my new trim, or newly refinished trim in matte black. Matches the window seals and everything perfectly. Look at that. What a transformation for just a couple parts. I absolutely love it. Doors open and shut, locks work, no problem. Good to go on the other side as well. Also got our rear window test fitted, put some masking tape around there just in case it gets messy. Got all of our supplies over here, got our urethane, our primer, got my nozzle cut into a triangle. Should lay down a really nice bead. And I got a couple different brushes here. This is the dauber that comes with the primer. This is just a foam brush that I got at the hardware store. And I used a little bit of fine line to hopefully help me create what's called the frit band, which I think I referenced earlier in the video. Don't mind the absolutely filthy Z06 here, it's dusty. But all your factory windshields come with this black outline, which is to hide the urethane and also protect it. So that's what I'm gonna do with the primer here, is I'm just gonna kind of run along this fine line, run the primer, which is gonna bond to the glass, and then therefore bond to the urethane. And the fine line should help me, hopefully, when I peel it back, create a nice, clean, defined line. It will look nice from the outside. So I think we're ready to go. Never done this before. This could go bad, hopefully it goes good, but let's do the final clean on the windshield, get the primer down, get the urethane on there, and get these windows installed. All right, this thing's coming together. Quick side note though, let's nerd out. Let's go back to 1969 real quick. I've seen this a little bit on the car as I've been taking it apart, you know, over the past 18 months. And I just think it's kind of cool. Check it out. So all over the car, there's little bits of orange. These must be the original trim retaining pieces. Same thing inside the door here. You look in random spots, got some orange in there. Noticed it in the trunk and a couple other places too. But if you decode the trim tag on this car, 1969 Camaro, it's paint code 72, which is Hugger Orange. It's an awesome color, and it appears that this car was originally Hugger Orange when it, you know, rolled out of the factory in Norwood, Ohio back in 1969. So kind of cool. Let's keep going. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just staring at this thing for the last half hour, because I am in love. This thing came out so good. Take a look for yourself. Got both rear and front windows in, got all the trim back on, my cowl panel here, my new flat black windshield wipers. The trim was kind of a pain. It's really tedious, especially when you don't want to scratch your brand new powder coated finish. All the mirrors are on, all the windows are tinted, all the weather stripping and stuff is painted flat black. Rear's all done. Oh my goodness. I just can't even get over this thing. Also, got the interior, you can't really see because it's pitch black in here now, but I got the interior 100% back together for the first time since I've owned the car, basically. I tore it apart the day I bought it. Finally got my dash pad back in, my TMI dash pad, got my glove box all back together. But we'll show that a little more in a later video. But holy crap, I'm in love. For never doing a windshield installation before, it came out really good. My frit line came out really good. You can, it's a nice clean line as opposed to before. There was like a messy butyl thing going on in this thing. The whole thing just looks super clean, super dark, just the way I like it. I'm so glad I went with gloss black on the trim and mirrors. I almost had a moment of weakness and went with like a flat or satin black, and I just think the gloss it looks really sharp, and it's really gonna go with the gloss black and gray theme that I got planned for this car. So normally I bring this thing outside and kind of give you guys an outside view, and I'd also like to give this thing a bath. I've not given this thing a wash under my ownership, and I've owned it since January 1st of 2021. January 1st of 2022. But it's pouring rain outside, so I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. I got a stack of parts right here that I'm looking at right now that are still gonna go on this thing. I got tons more cosmetic stuff we're gonna do, plus driving this thing. It's gonna be a good summer, but that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed how this thing looks now, all blacked out, cosmetic side of things. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.